I do have something great to share with you guys today, and it was actually a kind of a quick one, which will be good for our time purposes anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started and share my screen. And if you are driving, just be careful and don't take notes or anything. However, would love to hear what you guys are grateful for today as we start. I'm grateful for Heather and Abby trying to keep me on track. It's apparently taking a village today. I see Nikki laughing. Yes, it is. Oh my gosh, Michelle. Yay, finally, woohoo. Tell him I said congratulations. I know that you have been anxiously awaiting for that to happen.
Yeah, he's in the car with me right now, so he heard you.
Congrats, woohoo. That is so exciting. The sunshine, okay, I was waiting for somebody to say sunshine. You guys said it at the same time. Yes, thankfully, I'm like a crazy one that didn't wear a coat today though, and it's still a little bit chilly, but yes, the sunshine. Derby, yes, getting settled in your new home in Arizona. Oh, Amanda, that's great. That is so awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, guys, so today we're gonna do something kind of quick. However, and you may have seen this before, but I think it's a great reminder, and I actually needed this as a reminder myself. So I thought that it would be good for us to go over today. So this is called the 4 C's. And again, you may or may not have seen this. It's written by a guy named Dan Sullivan. And Dan is a very, very successful business coach, entrepreneur coach. And he wrote this book around this, and he kind of came up with this model called the 4 C's. And he said how everybody everywhere grows. So no matter what you're looking to do, or if you're wanting to grow in something, this is the way that you do it. And this was probably one of the biggest things that ever changed my mindset, and has led to a lot of success and things that I've done. And so I love to revisit it. I teach this a lot, and I thought, you know what, I feel like we haven't talked about this in a long time, so I'm going to go over it really quickly. So the first thing that you have to do when you want to grow is go make a commitment. And a lot of times we think that we have to have the confidence or the capabilities or the courage before we actually go and do something. And really, I think our minds are kind of wired to think like that, but I don't actually think that that's the way that is the right way to do it. A lot of times we actually just need to first go and make that big commitment. And even if you have heard this before, like I said, for me, or it might be new for some of you, but for me, I have to revisit this often. And when I share with you the 5th C, I'll share with you why. But the way that it works is you go make a big commitment first. And then after you make the commitment, then you start to move through the cycle of getting the courage and the capability and the confidence. So Linda McKissick has always taught me this, and I think it's funny, but it's true. When we say go make a big commitment, the reason is because a lot of times we get very, I guess, complacent, which I'll gave that away as the 5th C, but we get kind of complacent in our lives, or we might feel just comfortable with something, or comfortable with the way that things are going, and we can fall into a complacent space. And a lot of times the way that we get out of that is we have to go make another really big commitment. And it might be a commitment that, as Linda would say, is so big and scary that it just makes you like want to wet your pants. But she says that the difference of having fear and courage is with courage, you go on ahead and do it even with wet pants. So you have to go make a big commitment. And then after you make the commitment, you're committed to do it, right? So then you begin to go through the cycle and you build the courage, and you're like, okay, well, I've already committed to do it. So now I've already got the courage because the hard part's over, I've committed. And then you start to get the capabilities, or another word for that is the credentials that actually make you develop the 4th step, which is confidence, because you start to win. So you make a big commitment, you feel good about it. And then you're like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm getting the capabilities, I'm getting the credentials, and now I'm confident in it. What can happen after that is you can hit a 5th C, which is complacency. And he actually added that later after he wrote the 4 C's. He came back and said, okay, I've added a 5th C, and it's complacency. Because sometimes, like I said earlier, we get stuck in a complacent space or a complacent kind of rut. And the only way to get out of the fifth C is to go back to number one, which is to make another big, scary commitment again. And I think some people feel good when they feel like they're not being stretched and they're like, no, I'm good. Like everything's just, chill and we're good right now. And sometimes some people are okay with that. I think the majority of people, that can lead to a lot of other things. They become unhappy. Their mindsets don't get in a good place. They don't feel like they're being challenged. And so they really need to go back and make another commitment. So I want you guys to just ask yourself these questions. And honestly, I kind of did this yesterday when I was putting this together. And it was good just to reflect. So the first one is, when was the last time that you really went and made a new, scary, big commitment? Like, when was the last time that you got out of your comfort zone and you were like, you know what, I'm just going to commit to it. I'm going to go and do it. And I don't have the credentials. I don't have the courage. I have no clue how I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to make it work or what's going to happen, but I'm just going to commit to it. And the second one is, do you find yourself often shying away from seeking new opportunities or commitments? Are you like, you know what? No, I'm good. Like, I'm good financially. I don't want to grow anymore, or I'm good with the current opportunity that I have. I don't need to do anything different. And I just want you to think of a time when you made a new commitment and it ended up being a success. And I can think of a lot of times for me, because I think it's the difference. And this is the reason why I want to talk about this on Wednesday morning mindset, is because I think this is your mindset. There's a difference between having a scarcity mindset versus having an abundance mindset. And you can get stuck in that, like, I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. I don't necessarily need to grow. And I think, I don't remember, I think, is it John Maxwell or somebody says the blunt quote, when you stop growing, you die, which is very direct and blunt and not very happy. However, I think a lot of the times it's true. And when you make new commitments, you can think back of times where you did something that maybe you didn't have the confidence or the credentials or the courage to do. And it ended up just being a huge success and you crushed it. And then number 4, did you already have the confidence and credentials before you said yes? And most of the time your answer is going to be no. You didn't. You just said, I'm going to go and I'm going to figure it out. And then you developed the courage and the confidence and the credentials after that. And then the last question is the one that I just don't want you to like type in the, don't answer in the chat or anything. But would you describe yourself as complacent in your life right now? And I just want you to think about that. And it's not a negative thing, and it's not really a good thing or a bad thing. I just think that you should be realistic. And I can think of several times I got a little complacent really last year, to be honest. And then I went and made a bunch of big commitments, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I got so much going on. But it re-gets you through that cycle of growth and leading to your next opportunities. And so if you are complacent, or you would say yes to number 5, I would just challenge you to think about, what new big commitment could you actually make? Actually, I'm going to go back to that. What big, scary, pee your pants commitment do you need to go out and say yes to, or do you need to find that you can grow from? And I put this in here just to share with you, because a lot of times it has to do with how we learn and how we grow. And did you know that when you hear or read something, you retain 5 to 20% of it? When you write something down, you actually retain 30% of it. When you have an active discussion with somebody else over learning something, when you're actively discussing it, you retain 50% of it. And when you role play and enact something out, then you retain 80% of it. And so the reason I wanted to share that part with you is because I think for those of us that might need to go make a big new commitment, or we might need to focus on getting a little bit out of complacency, I would challenge you to maybe start writing and journaling some things out. I would challenge you to discuss it with a coach or a mentor or a friend, or a family member and really kind of talk through it and figure out what you need to do next for that. And lastly, I couldn't help but put this in here. It's one of my favorite graphics ever, and it just goes perfectly with this. And a lot of times when we get complacent, it's because we just stay inside of our comfort zone. And have any of you seen this before? I just love this because it says where the magic happens and then where your comfort zone is. And it's always outside of your comfort zone. And so a lot of times you need to go and you need to make a new commitment, or you need to do something where you're stepping out of your comfort zone, because that's what pushes you to that next level of growth. It's what pushes you up in your mindset and the way that you think. Actually, like, I love, Michelle, that your husband is just passed his test, and we're doing this one today because he probably maybe does or does not feel like he has the credentials and the capability and the confidence and all those things, but he's just going and doing it. And a lot of times you just need to go and make the commitment, and then the rest comes and you figure it out after that. So I needed a good refresher on this. Hopefully one of you guys did too, but I would really encourage you to just ask yourself these questions and think about it over the next couple of days, and really think about, do you need to go make another big commitment? Do you need to think about something that you maybe haven't been doing because you haven't had the confidence or the courage to do it? That maybe if you do say yes to it, then you'll develop those things, and it can be a way to change your mindset, your financials, your growth, all of those different things. So I love the 4 C's. I use it in everything, and I just wanted to reshare it with you guys today. So hope that you liked that and enjoyed it. If you have questions around that ever, or you want to know more, just reach out to me and I'm happy to help. I think this is a good thing too, to like share with your kids and your spouse and everybody else, because everybody sometimes gets complacent, even kids do, and everybody. And so I think it's good for them to hear that sometimes you just need to go make a new commitment and get out of your comfort zone a little bit. So thank you guys for being on. Thanks for being patient with me this morning. And I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks, guys. Bye.